round 16 of the 2019 season. It's the last race officially in Europe, and after we all got used to Singapore, we're thrown across back to Europe for Russia. Welcome to Sochi Autodrome. We move away from Singapore to Russia, round 16 of the 2019 season at the Sochi Autodrome, site of the 2014 Winter Olympics. It's a remarkable venue. It is one of the most unique on the calendar. Some races here have been less interesting than others, but we do tend to get a cracker. In terms of the calendar, it's stop number 16 on this 2019 calendar. 2 weeks' time, and we're in Japan for the Japanese Grand Prix in Suzuka. Another 2 weeks, and Mexico City will return as we start the final 4 races. Then a week later, we're in the United States for the American Grand Prix. 2 weeks later, mid-November, it's the Brazilian Grand Prix. And right at the end of November, and on the first day of December and Christmas, we get an early Christmas present ourselves. But we have to say goodbye to Formula 1 in 2019, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. In terms of the Drivers' Championship, well, Lewis Hamilton is dominating that one, 296 points to Valtteri Bottas and 231. Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen are level on points, tied for third on 200. Sebastian Vettel, with that victory in Singapore, has closed that gap on 194 points. The battle now seems to be for second in the title if Valtteri Bottas starts to slip back. Pierre Gasly in the Toro Rosso, after switching back from Red Bull in sixth, he looks to hold that unless Carlos Sainz can jump up. He's only 11 points behind. Alexander Albon and Daniel Ricciardo are in a battle as well for 9th, and 10th as well goes to Danica Kvyat, who's tied with Nico Hülkenberg on 33 points. Everyone from Daniel Ricciardo down, from Kvyat, Hülkenberg, Norris, Raikkonen, Perez are in a battle for 9th and 10th place in the championship. Lance Stroll, Kevin Magnussen are in a battle for 15th, Romain Grosjean is on 8 points, Antonio Giovinazzi is on 4 points after that top 10 finish in Singapore, Robert Kubica is still on 1 point, and George Russell, the only driver not to score. In terms of the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes are dominating and are due to be crowned the champions in 2 races' time in what should be Mexico on 527 points, Ferrari on 394 and Red Bull on 289. It's the battle mainly between Renault, Toro Rosso, Racing Point and Alfa Romeo and Haas that we're all watching. That midfield incredibly close. Renault leading on 67 points, Toro Rosso 55, Racing Point 46, Alfa Romeo is 35 and the outside chance is Haas F1 on 26 points. 1 point though still is for Williams. It's round 16 of the 2019 Formula 1 calendar, the Russian Grand Prix at the Sochi Autodrome, and it should be, hopefully, a great weekend ahead. Welcome to Russia. Let's go on then to the first practice report here on Friday in Russia, and Ferrari denied a 1-2 finish in the opening session by Max Verstappen. He finished with Leclerc top at 134.462, Verstappen second, Vettel third, Bottas and Hamilton fourth and fifth, at arguably the best circuit to be a Mercedes driver at. Unusual that they had such problems early on. Leclerc, adamant he'd learned his lessons in Singapore a week ago, from which he lost out to his teammates at the fastest lap of the session, as we said. He did it out with 30 minutes to go of FP1. Vettel, well, he was 5/10 off the pace. Verstappen, though, got closest within the same 10th as Leclerc. As a result of the tyre choices, 4th for Bottas, 5th for Hamilton, but that was all down to tyre choice in the opening session. They were 2 tenths behind. Hamilton, who won the race last year here in Russia, was the first driver to test the runoff area at turn 2. Bollards have been created a saloon effect to get them out of that runoff without converting back onto the track and causing damage. Meanwhile, Bottas' session just ended before the checker flag with an unusual rear wing failure with the DRS stuck open. Alexander Albon was the slowest of the top 6, a second off of the pace. He, along with FP runner-up and teammate Verstappen, will receive a 5-place grid penalty as Honda changed his internal combustion engine. Renault resurging after the summer break, as particularly strong at Monza, fastest midfield, Hülkenberg 7th, followed by Ricciardo in 8th. who, when the checker flew through, backed into the barrier as well before the end, and the rear end damage looking relatively superficial, but the Australian was able to drive back to the pits as well. McLaren absent for the midfield battle, but the fourth place constructor Lando was 16th overall. Carlos Sainz opted to finish in 11th place. And it was Kvyat who, the sole retiree for the session, is Toro Rosso, stopping early on at turn 15 with what Team Principal France TOS suspected was a fuel system issue. He ended up 19th ahead of Robert Kubica, and of course, in 20th was George Russell. Let's take a look at the full times then from FP1. So Charles Leclerc was fastest on a 1:34.462. Max Verstappen second on 1:34.544. Sebastian Vettel in third on 1:35.005. Valtteri Bottas in fourth on 1:35.198. Lewis Hamilton fifth on 1:35.411. Alexander Albon sixth on 1:35.484. Nico Hülkenberg in seventh on 1:35.740. That's Daniel Ricciardo in P8 on a 1:36.287. Sergio Perez 9th on a 1:36.321. And then we get Romain Grosjean landing on the top 10 on 1:36.516. Carlos Sainz is 11th on 1:36.523. Then it's Pierre Gasly 12th on 1:36.538. Kevin Magnussen 13th on 1:36.596. Lance Stroll 14th on 1:36.714. Kimi Räikkönen 15th on 1:36.770. Lando Norris 16th on the 1:36.844. Antonio Giovinazzi 17th on 1:37.328. George Russell 18th on the 1:38.520. Danny Kvyat 19th on 1:38.550. And Robert Kubica rounding out the grid on 1:38.70. On to free practice 2 then, and it was a pretty much cracker for Max Verstappen. Turned up the engine in FP2, which meant he had a full engine to go out on. He did a 1:33.162. Charles Leclerc second, 3/10 off the pace as well, but we think he's running more of a reliable strategy. Bottas was fourth, Hamilton in fifth place, and Vettel in fifth overall. Just a fraction off the leading time in FP1. Verstappen swapped places with Charles Leclerc in the afternoon, clocking a 1:33.162 overall, 3/10 quicker than the two-time race winner of Charles Leclerc. One of Mercedes, Valtteri Bottas, winner in Sochi, of course, back in 2017. He was there leading the charge for Mercedes, but 3/4 adrift in third place as well. Mercedes did their low fuel wrong, slightly higher fuels early on in the session as well. And Sebastian Vettel, winner last time out in Singapore, making a mistake on his first run in Sector 2 and running out of tyre life on his next run. A few dangerous bits in the session. Well, it was another virtual safety car. Valtteri Bottas took out a bollard at the first chicane, although we don't think it was him because it doesn't really seem to suit his style of missing the bollard, but he went straight through the middle of the bollard, causing the virtual safety car to have to replace it. But still, very unusual to see him make any sort of mistake at all there. As well, Lewis Hamilton ran wide at turn 2. A load of people out breaking themselves in today's session, but the scariest as well, the two Toro Rosso boys of Gasly and Kvyat. They were coming out of the pit lane side by side down towards turn 2, where the pit lane exit feeds out on, and they just trip each other up, both trying to avoid each other, nearly making contact, but Gasly coming in the radio and saying, "I'm sorry, I didn't see him." Perfectly reasonable, completely. Typical FP2, the second half of the 90-minute session was spent on high fuel loads and gathering the data. So the first part was the qualifying runs, the next was all about the race strategy. Another scary incident involved Alexander Albon and Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton fiddling with something on his dashboard and Albon going slow around turn 3, the two almost coming together. Valtteri Bottas was just behind as well, but it could have been a very, very nasty accident as well. Lance Stroll made it to 2 racing points in the top 9. McLaren's Lando Norris rounded out the top 10 as well in the second practice session. Gasly was 7th, remember, as well. He was ahead of Perez and Hülkenberg. But it was a pretty interesting session. Mercedes have been dominant in all 5 races here in Russia so far since 2014. But it doesn't seem that this weekend, Red Bull and Ferrari are a real presence again in the championship fight. Remember, Mercedes haven't won since Hungary with Lewis Hamilton, but Ferrari have won all 3 races since the summer break. The They won in Belgium dominantly, they won in Italy dominantly, and they won in Singapore down to strategy and their brilliance at the moment. So the new upgrade package working very well. Seems like Red Bull's got something up their sleeve as well, but that's not really for this race. It's more for the next race at the Japanese Grand Prix, of course, Honda's home circuit. But it's looking good. Verstappen topping Friday overall. Let's take a look at the times from FP2. Max Verstappen tops the second session then on a 1:33.162. Charles Leclerc second for Ferrari, 1:33.497. Valtteri Bottas in third, a 1:33.808. Lewis Hamilton in fourth on a 1:33.960. Sebastian Vettel rounding out the top five on a 1:34.201. Then we get Pierre Gasly P6 on a 1:34.971. Sergio Perez is 7th at 1:34.998. Nico Hülkenberg 8th at 1:35.026. Lance Stroll 9th at 1:35.176. And then we get Alexander Albon in the top 10 at 1:35.216. Lando Norris is 11th at 1:35.223. Then we get Danny Kvyat in 12th at 1:35.337. Kevin Magnussen 13th at 1:35.351. Daniel Ricciardo 14th at 1:35.370. Kimi Raikkonen once again 15th at 1:35.374. Romain Grosjean 16th at 1:35.593. Carlos Sainz 17th at 1:35.653. Then we get Antonio Giovinazzi in 18th at 1:36.004. 19th for George Russell at 1:36.785. And for the second session running this weekend, Robbie Kubica in 20th on a 1:37.838. We'll be back then tomorrow at 10 o'clock for the third practice session. We'll be on air with our coverage at 12:30 for the Saturday practice report. As usual, we'll look through Twitter and give you the session report as well. Then we've got qualifying coming your way. That's at 1 o'clock UK time. And then, of course, on Sunday, a little bit of a change around. The race starts at 12:10, so we are on air at 11 o'clock. So have Sunday morning brunch with us as well as we preview the weekend. Megan not here this weekend with us, so it's me and Dad in the commentary box as well. Dad's already taken FP1 and 2 today. I was in race control doing a bit more of a data gathering for the weekend ahead. We have a lovely feature coming up in a few months' time, probably next season. We've got a lovely feature upcoming about Liberty Media and how they influence the Formula 1's change, so stay tuned for that. That's coming up soon. That's what we've been working on today. So it's going to be good. So stay tuned. So, Russian Grand Prix. Well, this is usually a Mercedes circuit. However, it looks to be changing. Times are changing here in Russia. Let's see what qualifying brings tomorrow. From us all here. Bye for now.